Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, throughout this series, we've talked about so many different relationships. We've talked about brothers, sisters, friends, family, parents, and constantly bringing up the fact that people with special needs are being discriminated against. And even though there is some discrimination happening towards people with special needs, most people sincerely are not willing and able to marry someone with special needs. They sincerely just cannot handle it. It's not something that they can do. It's hard for them. They can't see themselves helping an individual. They can't see themselves living a life with someone with special needs forever. It's difficult for them. It's not because they dislike them or they hate them or they have any issues with them. It's because they know themselves. They go, we just personally can't do this. And I think this is the mass majority of people. I think as an ummah, personally, most of us are just unsure of ourselves. We don't know what that entails. Even parents, when the child is born, they don't know if they can take care of that child that has special needs, and they have to learn along the way, right? So it's not always easy, but most people are just unsure if they can take care of them. In that fear and in that confusion, they go, I don't think it's good for me, and I wouldn't do it because it's not fair for that person. I can't take care of them. And in that case, what happens is that we start getting upset as a special needs community, and we start vilifying people. We start saying, oh, everybody hates us. Everybody discriminates against us. Well, the truth of it is that they're not being mean. They're being honest. They're being sincere. They're saying we can't do it, right? And it's hard. It's not easy. This reminds me of a beautiful story. Julabi radiallahu an, when Rasulullah embraced him, and he asked, who would want to purchase, this slave for me? As, like jokingly, he was hugging him and embracing him. Julabi radiallahu an responded by saying, who would want someone like me along those lines, right? Like no, because he had a disfigurement, he had a disability. Rasulullah went out of his way in the mercy of his heart and the love for Julabi radiallahu an, went and made a proposal for him. Went to a family and made a proposal for him. I always found the reaction of the parents to be so telling for us to learn from as a society. When Rasulullah initially made the proposal, the parents thought it was going to be someone that's coming from a noble background, someone that's more well known within the Muslim community. And then when they heard it was Julabi radiallahu an, they had a different reaction. They were like not quite exactly happy about it, from at least how I understand it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But they didn't react to it in a way where they were ecstatic. They definitely did not celebrate. From most narrations, they did not celebrate the proposal of Rasulullah. But does that mean they're bad people? Does that mean they discriminate against people with special needs? Does that mean they don't understand the deen? I mean, these are people that were around Rasulullah. These are Sahaba, right? They're the best generation. Their daughter comes down and hears what Rasulullah is asking and who he's proposing, and she accepts. That is a reflection of the teachings of the parents. The parents provided that tarbiyah in the home where she reacted in such a beautiful way. The parents had a moment where they had a very human moment. They wanted someone, which in that time and culture, someone of nobility, someone with wealth, someone that people would look up to. That's a very common thing, but they had a very human reaction. And once the girl, she was accepting of it, once their daughter was accepting it, they didn't stop her. They realized that Rasulullah had requested this, and they were accepting of it. So what is the point I'm trying to make here? Is that we can't vilify people for having a human reaction. But if there are people that are willing to marry someone with special needs, we cannot stop them. And this story alone teaches us so much about how we can deal with proposals for people with special needs. It tells so much. Someone that was the leader of a community, Rasulullah, the leader of our community, went out of his way personally, didn't send a message, didn't send somebody else. He came to someone's house and made a proposal because he saw the quality of this individual. The family, even though they had a very human reaction to what they were hearing, they then came back to realizing that this is something that is good for them because it's asked by Rasulullah. And the daughter herself was someone that was open to the idea, and they didn't stop her. How many times do we see in our community somebody's willing to marry someone with special needs or anything? There might be someone that's divorced or somebody that's coming from a different background, and our families stop it. They go, no, you can't do that. There's so many times where they create more walls. Oh no, you can't get married yet. You don't make enough money. or you don't have your own home. And these walls get put up. And the more walls you get put, it gets become harder for all brothers and sisters to get married. The reality is our families that have special needs, individuals, we can't get upset when people say, they're not able to marry someone with special needs. And for the individuals that are ready and are willing, don't stop them, because you have to have faith that you gave them the proper tarbiyah. You have to have faith that they thought of all of the challenges that's going to come with it. And if you're unsure of that, then ask, did you think about this? Did you think about that? And if those boxes are checked and that person says, yes, mom, dad, I thought about all of that, I still love that person and I want to marry him or her, let them go. That's their decision. But don't become a wall, because that's going against the sunnah of Rasulullah. Rasulullah showed this is a responsibility that he had for his Sahaba, Julabib radiallahu anh, to ensure that he is picked to do his part. He didn't command or demand that their daughter should marry him. He proposed, and then a decision was made. So much that we can learn from this story, subhanAllah, and so much we need to work on as a community. We don't always know what's best for each other. We think we know, but at the end of the day, we need to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah, and this story is one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard. If you want a more comprehensive understanding of the story, I highly recommend you listen to Sheikh Omer's version, which has all the details that we need. SubhanAllah. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It is amazing. I learned so much from it, and it really helped me understand how we should treat this particular topic when it comes to marriage and disabilities. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.